Hola.
Good evening, everybody. It's Usyk Dubois 2 fight week. July's coming at us thick and fast. We had Hamza Shiraz Balanga last week. What a performance from Shiraz. Can Daniel Dubois continue the Brit momentum? He's back. Yeah, Don Charles is getting brave, isn't he, as well, boys?
They're all getting brave. Listen, they better watch it because Usyk's serious. He wants 4v4 in centre of London, mate. You're not getting out of that shit. Be like, which 4? Oh, I've done my hamstring. Oh, my hand. You three will be all right. Go on, lads.
Yeah. We may as well get into Wembley, boys. That's the real talking point from this weekend, isn't it? How are we both first up?
Tip top, man. Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Yeah, all good, all good. How are you boys? All good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Dubois weekend.
Challenging Usyk. Well, I say challenging. He's got the IBF, hasn't he? Usyk's got the rest. So it is the first undisputed fight of the four-belt era to take place on British shores, I believe.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor obviously won the belts, but in Las Vegas during COVID, unfortunately for him.
At heavyweight, it is, mate. At heavyweight. Expect cruiserweight, didn't we? Usyk Belly, he was in Manchester.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
First heavyweight.
At heavyweight, should I say. Obviously, Lennox Lewis, when he was undisputed, was 3 belts, wasn't it? So, anyway, Usyk Dubois 2. Daniel Dubois coming off the back of 3 massive wins after the first Usyk fight. Sick of the low blow bullshit. Do me a favour, as Frank Warren would say. It was a low blow. It's done. Usyk stopped him. It is what it is. It's a new fight on Saturday night. Stop with the rhetoric, please. If I see that shot again that Dubois threw at Usyk one more time, I'm sure I'm going to see it 50 million times.
You can pick stuff like that for, Frank Lampard scored one of the World Cup's greatest goals.
Yeah.
I mean? You can pick stuff
exactly. Even in
forever. It happened. Yeah. It was a debate, a talking point, but you're fighting again. So, let's put it to bed now then, for all the marbles, so to speak.
I think I've said it before, but the reason why the narrative has to be peddled so heavy is without Queensberry and Team Dubois bringing up the low blow.
There's nothing in it.
8 rounds of him being beaten by a jab and then taking a knee and getting stopped. That's the reality. That his best moment of the fight was an illegal moment. Illegal because it was called illegal by the referee, and that's all they got to sell it on. Because let's be honest, yes, people will go and watch a fight at Wembley because it's a fight at Wembley, and it's, some people will go for Usyk, some people will go for Dubois. But the reality is a lot of the promo and the ticket sales have come through the fact that the low blow narrative has been rammed down our throats. Yeah. I agree. I don't want to see it again. And I'm sure as soon as I open up the timeline later tonight, it'll be one of the first things I see because that's just the way it's
Billy Nelson's commenting on every post that I've ever seen about Dubois today, so he's dragging it.
He's on it.
Out. Bless him.
Yeah, well, he's trying to put Martin into the position for Daniel's comeback fight, isn't he? So everyone's got a narrative to peddle, and that's Dubois and Queensberry. Because like we say, you can't make an argument for him winning any of the rounds that happens. Even the round with the low blow in, you couldn't say he won that because he didn't get knocked down and Usyk
didn't win a minute of the fight. He never won a minute.
Unless Oleksandr Usyk has aged dramatically, which I highly doubt. I'd be gobsmacked. Daniel hasn't improved as much as to bridge the gap between him and Usyk. Fair enough. The win over AJ was great. The win over Hrgovic was great. The win over Jarrell Miller was a good win in fairness as well because questions were asked of him that night. Hi, Luca. Big up to yourself and Hawkan for joining us. Sorry, Jay. Usyk is away.
Sorry, just to piss on your bonfire. But we were there. We watched all Daniel's amazing run together. We did lives on each and every fight. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying you guys are, but the narrative is that he's on this run, right? AJ fight aside, right? Mm-hmm. And AJ got hurt with the first punch that he really got caught with. I think he underestimated Daniel. Whatever way you look at it, he underestimated him, right? Let's take the AJ fight out of it. Hrgovic, he pretty much lost nearly all of that fight, and then Hrgovic got a bad cut. Was it? It was a bad cut above his right eye.
It was stopped on the cut, essentially, but Hrgovic couldn't miss him with the right hand in the first few rounds.
He was beating him up.
He was.
And then the, what was the one before that? The Miller fight? He wasn't really winning that fight, and Miller just started blowing out of his ass, and he sort of jumped all over him. So this resurgence, listen, Kieran Farrell has added to his game, right? He's added to it. The difference between Usyk, right, and a lot of other boxers, and I'll use Mayweather as a reference point, is boxers get to a stage that they're that good that things become second nature. And the difference between an elite one, GOAT status and world class is when Daniel's thinking about something, Usyk's automatically done it. And he'll always be a step behind.
Yeah, I agree.
He's always going to be a step behind. So like you said, Sam, unless Usyk turns up and he's got the energy that like I've got and he gets caught by Dubois, then that fight's good.
He looks so locked in, doesn't he? I think one of you boys said it in the face-off earlier.
He's going to go out there and he's going to try to put on an absolute clinic. And I think Daniel's in for a surprise,
I think he'll be in for a rude awakening as well,
mate.
I think. Look, Daniel's confidence is good, and his confidence is winning in the fights, definitely. But Usyk's too smart as well. If Usyk didn't have it, he would
retired. He walked away.
Yeah, he knows there's money to be made, and he's putting his country on the map, which obviously you got to respect him for, and that's one of his motivations.
Same as Lomachenko.
Same as Lomachenko. Yeah,
Loma knew, right, that he was fighting at 2 or 3 weight divisions above his natural weight. What was going to catch up with him was fighting a young, hungry, bigger guy when he's too old and he's gone past. So what did he do? He just bowed out, mate, at the top. And it takes a lot to do that. There's not many done it. Andre Ward, Joe Calzaghe. There's not many bow out at the top. Usyk is a clever enough and rich enough man that has generational wealth to not have to be bothered about fighting. What does he prove by beating Dubois? He don't prove anything to anyone.
He's probably binned off Krashuk, hasn't he, to get a little bit more cash? That's what they reckon. He binned off his promoter, Alex Krashuk. It'll sell out Hawkan, I think, as well.
Dubois, like you say, Usyk doesn't need to fight Dubois again. As the first fight was conclusive enough. That's that chapter should be closed after what we got in Poland back in 2023. But the narrative is he wants to become the first 3-time 2-weight division undisputed champion. And that's what his motivation is at this point. He would take this fight probably against... Look, if he had to go and fight Tyson Fury for a 3rd time, he'd do that. He'd fight anyone at this point because he also believes that he's better than anyone that has to offer in the heavyweight division. Like we've hinted at, the only thing that can make him come unstuck is if he has aged, if there's a younger, bigger, more athletic fighter in front of him. But I don't
that ain't Dubois, is it?
Dubois is not that guy. Look, has Daniel Dubois improved exponentially from where he was when he lost to Joe Joyce? Yes, you can't not say that. But the reality is the gap to Usyk is still too big. I actually still think that if Dubois and Joseph Parker fought, Parker probably would beat Daniel Dubois. I actually thought Parker, and I said it, didn't I, back at the start of the year. So I don't say, out of the active heavyweights, you put him at number 3, definitely. I do put Parker above him, but he's not going to do it on Saturday. Yes, I want the Brit to do it. I'd absolutely love it if he does. But the reality is we are on the tail end of a generational talent in Usyk, and he's still got too much left.
You know what, Liam? It's controversial. Just you've said that. I actually don't want Dubois to win. I want Usyk to win. Honestly, do.
To be honest, guys, I think we should save that to tomorrow night's prediction show, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I didn't say who I think would win. So just said I want Usyk.
No, Liam did.
Because I want to protect his legacy, Liam. I want to protect his legacy.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same as when Pacquiao... Sorry, Liam. It's when Pacquiao fought Mayweather for me. I didn't want... As much as I like Pacquiao, I wanted Mayweather to bow out. Joe Calzaghe, I wanted him to bow out.
It would break my heart, Jay, if Dubois chinned Usyk, and I don't think it will happen. But if he did, then it would honestly be heartbreaking, Liam.
You know why that is as well? Because... Usyk done everything for his legacy in those 2 fights last year with Tyson Fury. And no disrespect to Daniel Dubois. If he then goes and loses to Daniel Dubois, who is a lesser fighter than someone like Tyson Fury, it almost feels like it diminishes what we've seen him do. It won't in the overall grand scheme of things, but in the moment, it will feel like he went up to the highest peak last year twice against Tyson, put up with all the crap that was thrown his way, and then he loses it to Dubois.
It's like Usain Bolt winning his Olympics, World, Diamond League, gold medals, going to the next Olympics and losing to Gatlin. But he didn't. But I'm saying it's like that. It's like you've lapped everybody. You're not what you were. That is the only chance anybody gets of beating him. It's like when Man City this past season, they didn't buy. They rested on the laurels. A lot of their team aged overnight and the other teams caught them up. That's what's going to get to Usyk. And I think he knows he's got enough left to get past. Look, what Dubois did to AJ has clouded a lot of people's judgments. He's not that good. It's only 3 years ago, everyone were calling him a pussy and a quitter.
Yeah, it's a fickle sport, man. Look,
do you know what I'm saying?
I'll give you a good example of that. AJ's run, Jermaine Franklin, Robert Hellenius, Francis Ngannou. He's the best heavyweight in the world. He's
2.0.
You know, and look, I'm not. But anyway, before anyone jumps on me, I'm not comparing Franklin, Hellenius, and Ngannou to Big Baby Miller, Hergovich, and Joshua. I understand that they're two different runs, but what I'm saying is everyone's quick to jump from you're done, you're finished, to you're back. So look, it's interesting. Dubois got a lot to prove on Saturday evening. Pat, thanks for joining us, my friend. Usyk will KO Dubois 8-10. Not a bad shout there. Yes, Liam, thanks for joining us as always, my friend.
Yes,
big up to Chilltown Boxing. TJ, hope you're well, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Hawkins Team Usyk on Saturday, same as me, my friend. Not that I don't back the Brits. I wouldn't be mad, but Usyk's legacy, man.
You can't listen. You can't dislike Alexander.
Yeah, he's a top. You can't
dislike him. If you dislike him,
like Usyk.
If you dislike him, there's something wrong with you.
Something
the guy
wrong with you.
He's humble. He's a hard worker. He's a character. He's charismatic. You know, and he's a consummate professional. We've never had any. You know, he's never been pictured falling out of nightclubs. There's not. You know, he doesn't cheat on his wife. He's never failed a PED test. He's just a boxer, a professional. And look, he went and defended his bloody country, not so much on the front lines as I like to paint it, but look, he was willing to fight for his country. You know, the guy's an honourable champion, and he's what a champion should be at the pinnacle of the sport. And British bias or not, that goes aside at the weekend. I want Usyk to win. For his legacy and for the sport.
Yeah, all three of us in agreement. For his legacy, for what he's done for the sport, for the fact, like you say, Joe, there's never been you know, there's never been any controversy with Usyk. Even, you know, everything the bloke's done has always been to the highest level. He's always conducted himself in the right way. And he's done it, you know, even with this whole low blow narrative, he's turned it into his character, isn't he? Turning up with a guide of how you should show punches to the first press conference was just peak Oleksandr Usyk and how he is as a character. He could have easily decided to go down another route. I mean, in an interview yesterday when he was asked about it again, he said bullshit, don't want to talk about it anymore. It didn't happen. That's the confidence Daniel needs, which comes back to the initial.
It is, though. It is. It's what Frank Warren needs. It's what they're all, you know, they want to build Daniel up. And I understand that because Daniel's a confidence fighter. We all know he is.
The TV screen in his changing room at Wembley is just going to be playing that low blow all night before he walks out. That's all they're going to do. That's his motivation right there.
And we said it at the start of the show. Without that narrative, Dubois, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. This fight would not be at Wembley without that narrative. Yes, he's got a belt.
It's an UFC without it. Genuinely, it's an arena fight without it.
It's an arena fight without that. You know, but I just think the mistake that Team Dubois are making and making Daniel believe that he is Dubois 2.0. Yes, he's improved, but not exponentially. Not enough to beat a man like Usyk.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're going to find out on Saturday night at Wembley because there's nowhere to hide in there with Usyk for Dubois. We're going to find out what Daniel Dubois' resurrection really is on Saturday night because he ain't Joshua, he ain't Hergovich, and Lucas summed it up perfectly there as to why the three of us are probably wanting Usyk to win. Exactly. True legend and role model. And Hawkan and Luca have both said the same thing. I agree with you as well. I think Usyk might have the majority of support in Wembley on
Daniel's not charismatic.
It's nailed on. I don't really think there's any debate about it.
Daniel,
listen, there's only a person that's is less charismatic probably than Dubois is Ben Shalom. Dubois trying too hard to be a character instead of playing himself, and it's see-through. It's manufactured. It's nonsense, and that's going to be his undoing. He's believing his own hype. I get you've got to get your man amped and make him believe in himself, but not unrealistically. And that could be his undoing at the weekend if he thinks that he can just walk through Usyk. Usyk will pivot to the left, pivot to the right, stick it on him. And let's not forget, Usyk can bang as well.
Usyk knocked him out with a jab in the first fight.
Yep. Look, the narrative of Usyk will be well back. So at Wembley for the Joshua fight, bearing in mind it was two British fighters, you would have thought it was Anthony Joshua fighting a fighter from another country. That's how I know Anthony Joshua has a massive appeal. But I I'm not kidding you. Around me in this area there was maybe a smattering for Dubois, and that's another British fighter. So Usyk will probably have the lion's share. We know the Ukrainians travel well; they'll support him. But look, we're going to find out on Saturday. This is either going to be adding to Usyk's legacy, or we're going to be having conversations saying, well, at some point his legacy was going to start to fall off, and now it's happened. But we don't want to be having that conversation.
No, definitely not. Evening, Humble Apple Crumble. Hope you're well, my friend. As always,
Evening,
thanks for joining us. Big up Jams at Red Corner Boxing.
Yes,
Usyk UD for me. I just saw you had Bradley Stingray on, European champion, after his win, Jams. So big up to Red Corner. Go and hit the sub button over there. May take a risk. Look, Dubois, if you're going to bet on the fight, you may as well bet Dubois, because Usyk will be a considerable favourite. Won't he? Dubois
it doesn't go 12 rounds. Fight does not go 12 rounds.
Yeah, Usyk UD for both. I can see Usyk winning a UD as well, to be fair. But look, you could stop him as well. It could be there's any outcomes up there.
I actually, sorry, just before
I
actually do not believe this fight will be close. I think Usyk will beat the dog shit out of him. I'm telling you now, he looks different. He's dialed in. He wants to make a statement and literally go out with a bang. And I think...
You think he hangs him up after Saturday?
It depends how much they've offered him for Fury 3, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
It all depends.
April 2026, according to Fury.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Usyk just... Because he's the kind of guy to go, do you know what?
He's going to keep milking Turkey dry for 50, 100 million times. Cheers, Turkey. Cheers, Turkey.
How much money do you need? Remember, there's a lot of bullshit goes along with Tyson Fury camps.
Yeah.
A lot of nonsense you've got to deal with.
Oh, yeah,
you might not want it. The hunger might not be there.
I don't think Usyk's about the money. I think the money's great and it's a byproduct. But he talks about his country and putting Ukraine in the eye, essentially when he fights, which is what he's fighting for.
He's done that.
So
tenfold. Yeah.
Liam's got
I agree,
Usyk battering him. Jam said that he looked really focused in that phase.
He never does he? Usyk never looks anything other than laser focused.
He just steps it up that little notch, doesn't he, in fight week? Usyk, he's kind of jokey and everything in the pre-fight press conferences and stuff like that. But when fight week hits, the switch goes and he's...
I saw a little short earlier on this afternoon, and I can't remember. I was doing something else, so I didn't catch the subject matter. But you saw him get real emotional. He sort of welled up. Didn't cry, but he welled up, and you could see that he just dialed. Yes, brother, you're good. He's dialed in, but I see something different in him. I think the fact that they are pushing this low blow narrative, that's what he's going to make a statement for the weekend.
Is it Don Charles' son that was riling him up as well?
Well, he's the one that said he'll do the 4 versus 4. Stood a few rows back today, though. Idiot.
Yeah, he said it with a bit of security in front of him, didn't he?
I'll do you, mate. I'll do you.
From the other side of the stadium.
Like John Fury with perspex.
Yeah. Imagine saying to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, I'll have it out.
He knock him out. Yeah. Because he said I can use these and I can use this and I can use... Right, okay, mate. Yeah, they're your teeth over there, pal. Come up on your way out, dickhead.
Undercard isn't up to much. It probably didn't need to be, in fairness. Okoli Lorena is the co-main at heavyweight. Wow. Probably it's a decent test for Okoli. Lorena, I think, will cause him a few problems in the fight. And then you got Edmondson against Daniel Lapan, the really tall light heavyweight Ukrainian as well. Anything on the undercard worth taking note of, boys, or should we move to Pacquiao Barrios?
Let's go.
Move to Pacquiao Barrios. I think.
Stop.
Okoli could be in for a tough night because, again, we've only seen 2.5 minutes of him at heavyweight, and we know Lorena, from what he's done to Dubois, will come to fight. So if Okoli isn't on it,
and Justice Hooney as well.
Yeah, and Justice Hooney. Look, we know he's not naturally a heavyweight, Lorena, but if Okoli isn't there on Saturday night, it wouldn't at all surprise me to see Lorena give him fits.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't like Okoli. I think he's overrated. I don't think he uses his attributes as he should.
Surprised he's took the fight, Jay. I'm surprised. Who wants to fight Kevin Lorena?
I don't think he's got much choice.
He's a tough fight, and he's just an awkward guy.
Yeah, Jams, give us a chance to get there, brother. We're working our way through the
mate, it was ordered by the
about anyone.
It was ordered by the WBC. It was because Lorena's the Bridgerweight champion and Lawrence Okoli's silver and #1 with the WBC, so they've ordered it. That's what it is. For whatever
be
reason,
surprised if he
Lawrence
got
doesn't
filled
want to
in.
give up his number one.
I would not be surprised if Lawrence Okoli got flattened.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. It's the type of fight that he would lose, Okoli. Shiraz Canelo next. Yeah, if he gets past Crawford, Turkey will make it happen. Turkey owns Canelo and he owns Shiraz, so it'd be an easy one for him to make.
What happened? Canelo's not fighting him. For what? For what?
Yeah,
Who's Hamza Shiraz?
Shitload of cash.
I don't think it draws enough. No one knows who Shiraz is, other than the Brits. All right, he's just knocked out Berlanga. Berlanga's no one. It was a hype job, mate. Honestly, Shiraz is the poster boy for Turkey. Yeah, I get he's Turkey's pet, but Canelo's not going to take a risk fighting a long He's a mirror image.
Canelo, you're facing Eubank, aren't you, rather than Hamza Shiraz?
Exactly. He's a mirror image of Benavidez, or he poses the exact same problems. Hits really hard, long, rangy, difficult at range, really good up close. I think he's just going to avoid it like the plague.
It doesn't look great for Canelo, considering he went 12 with Berlanga. He beat him comfortably enough, but Hamza just showed you really what you should do against someone like Edgar Berlanga if you're that level.
But Canelo's a welterweight. You know, let's not forget that. Canelo's a welterweight that eats a lot of beef from Mexico.
Allegedly.
But yeah, ultimately, his frame is he's a welterweight, a bulked up welterweight. So that's why
he's a 154 for years, wasn't
max.
He? Yeah, beat Beefy Smith and all that at 154.
That's where he's at his best, 154. And then he moved up. Sorry, mate, he moved up for money and for legacy and because of where the opportunities were.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely not a natural one. Which is why the Crawford fight isn't as dangerous as people are making it out, in my opinion. Coley, I won't be watching the Coley Lorena, I don't think. Hawkan, I feel for you, my friend. 4 Lawrence Okoli fights.
Sure.
That's
if you paid me.
I've done one and that was painful enough. And he stopped the guy.
That one he had against Matty Askin was one of the worst fights I've ever watched in my life.
And I was ringside for that.
For the whole fight, or did you leave?
I think I fell asleep in around round 4 and my son woke me up in round 10.
The cure to insomnia. Yes, Mickey, hope you're well, mate.
I think I saw him in a Commonwealth. Was that the Commonwealth? Who did he fight?
Yeah, against
Askin was British on the Joshua Pulev, Povetkin Wembley.
He was on a
It was against Isaac Chamberlain as well, wasn't it? He had a terrible fight, didn't he?
Every fight he's had's been awful, other than one round blowout.
I watched him win in the second round on the AJ Usyk first card, and even that was dreadful. When he stopped the geezer in the second round, it was still Lawrence Okoli is just unfortunate.
Strange career, Okoli. Strange career, man.
He's one of those fighters where even when he wins well, he still looks horrendous.
He's got all the attributes as well. It's really hard, long, awkward, just style is rubbish to watch.
Yeah, I agree with Luca, though. He'll be forced to fight more at heavyweight, so we should see what he's got a little bit more, I think, rather than the safety first thing.
I'll give you my honest opinion, Jams. I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, she should retire, mate. I think there's no clamour for the 4th one there, honestly. Coley Askin, that was the one, Hawkan. Right, return of the Pac-Man, boys. He's facing Barrios at 46, I think it is. For the WBC Mauricio special, ranking him after not fighting for 4 years and getting badly beaten up by Dennis Ugas. Barrios beat Ugas himself. Ugas obviously hurt Spence. That was one of his claim to fame. He's been a champion. He's a good fighter, Ugas. But if you're losing to Ugas in the manner Pacquiao did, then you shouldn't really be coming back 4 years later. I get it. Barrios is the perceived weakest champion at 147. Well, obviously, Boots Ennis.
Tell you what, boys, that might go up in value Sunday morning.
If
he gets killed.
Yeah. There's only Norman and Barrios that are champions now, aren't they? Because the WBA and IBF have been vacated from Boots. Crocker and Donovan will fight for the vacant IBF. Fundora Zoo 2 on the undercard. Isak Cruz against Fierro. The first fight was unbelievable. They're rematching as well. It's a decent card. Picasso's on, who's going to be fighting a new way. I think Omar Figueroa might be on there. Brandon Figueroa might be on there as well. Any thoughts, obviously, first of all, for the main event, boys? But then, obviously, I know we're all keen on Fundora against Zoo, the rematch.
I'm sad. I'm sad for the main event. I'm just sad that whoever it is that's convinced Pacquiao that he's got enough left to mix it at world levels, a prick, and wants smacking in his mouth. The rest of the card is really fucking good. It's criminal that the Fundora Sue rematch hasn't had more excuse me, more coverage. That is a fantastic fight. I mean, it's 3 really good fights. It's just that the headline fight is a mismatch now at this stage in either of them's career, and it saddens me, if I'm honest. Sorry, Liam, I cut you off there, brother.
No, you're all good, mate. The best way to describe it is it's a fight that you kind of hoped would fall off. You know, it gets announced, but then something stops it from happening. But now we are in fight week, and we're having to stare down the barrel of a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao getting back in the ring. It's like Jay's just said, I'm sad. It's a hollow feeling because you think of Manny Pacquiao, and there's some fantastic memories. Some of the fights he's been in, what he achieved in his career was phenomenal. But to come back at this point, back with the same training team, he's back with Freddie Roach. He saw an interview he gave with, I think it was BBC, where he said, Freddie's told me I'm hitting the pads like I used to. And that's
I mean, they all say that, don't they? Ricky Hatton will be back into Costa Zoo form, won't he, in a few months' time? And
that's
all
the
this.
thing, mate. And it's sad. And yes, Barrios is the weakest champion. That is a champion in this division at the moment. But it shouldn't matter because what does... You know, other than Manny Pacquiao shocking and winning on Saturday and then retiring, anyone else for him to fight in around 147 would be, you know, imagine Boots or Virgil Ortiz or someone deciding to come back down if Pacquiao wins on Saturday night. That would be horrendously dangerous. I mean, Barrios is dangerous enough, but you can kind of caveat it because of the fact he's the weakest champion. But it's just, mate, it's horrible. It shouldn't be happening.
It is. It wouldn't shock me, Jams, about that either. Anything for money. But yeah, but Barrios didn't look great, Liam, in his last fight. Do you remember on the Jake Paul Tyson one?
Mate, that's what I mean. That's why people are saying, it doesn't matter because Barrios is the weakest champion. But he's still an active fighter. We haven't, like you say, we haven't seen Pacquiao since he fought Evgeny Ugas, 5 years ago now?
4 or 5 years ago. Liam, do you know what my thoughts are on it? Barrios isn't good enough to have compassion on Pacquiao. If he was like Boot Dennis or even Brian Norman Jr., I think they're both better than Barrios. But I don't think Barrios is good enough to almost, carry Pacquiao, not hurt him. I actually think Pacquiao could get hurt on Saturday because I don't think Barrios would ease off. I don't think he's good enough he needs to go out there and try, do you know where I'm coming from?
Absolutely. The problem is, right, and this is a problem, this is why I don't like the Disney kid. As much as he can promote a show and as much as he gets bums on seats and pay-per-views and whatnot, right, we are in an era now where it's about the celebrity, so the names are getting fights that they should not get because non-boxing people are involved in the production side and the negotiation side, and unfortunately, one of our former heroes and one of the greats, it'll take for one of them to get absolutely fucking stoved in and maybe hurt before it stops happening. It's bollocks, man. Manny Pacquiao, as great as he was being the word, right, does not deserve to be fighting at this level after however long out, coming off the back of the performance that he had in his last fight. It's bullshit, man. It's everything that's wrong with the sport at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. Crocodile and 2 doesn't sell out wins without a quality undercard. Agreed. McComb against... Yeah, Sean McComb needs an opportunity, man. I think GBM have signed him up now, which is good. Kakachi obviously out of the Ray Ford fight, so he could probably be timed back for that. Yeah, I agree with that. Jam said Barrios should still have enough. Lucas said, watch any return legend fight, no interest whatsoever. Yeah, that's fair, Luca, definitely. Shannon the Cannon Briggs. Let's go, champ. For God's sake, how's he still going? Should be even better odds on Barrios.
He's trying to fight Rampage in a boxing match, then an MMA
saw that,
match.
Yeah, no interest in that. Yeah, money will come in, Liam, on Pacquiao late. Definitely it will. This shit
of course it will, because the nostalgia effect, people thinking, what if he can still do it? But what ifs in boxing seldom ends well. That's the reality. This isn't you don't play boxing. It's the oldest.
You get pushed out the door 99% of the time, Liam.
This is the thing. Like we've got, as Mikey said here, and we're going to come on to. We've got a fantastic rematch on the undercard in Fondora and Zoo. That for me is fight of the weekend. That was an incredible first fight, and I'm not hearing a dicky bird about it outside of certain hardcore circles because everyone's invested in the Manny Pacquiao circus.
I forgot it were on.
That's because PBC are terrible at promoting their fights as well.
I forgot it were on. I think you mentioned it, Sam, in one of our group chats. And I thought, shit. And then I started looking. It's criminal. It's criminal that, the likes of Manny Pacquiao, I'll say it again, I've got a bloody signed glove here of his on my desk, right? He's an all-time great, but he was an all-time great. He's not an all-time great standard fighter now. That's why the likes of Mayweather, you don't see Mayweather asking for serious fights, do you? We see him fighting kids, inexperienced kids, or journeymen, or celebrities. You don't see Mayweather calling out Errol Spence or Crawford, or do you understand what I mean? Because Mayweather's not stupid. He knows that he's not at that level anymore. He's probably at a higher level still than a majority of them, but to do it at world title level, Mayweather's not stupid. He's not stupid, and unfortunately, Manny Pacquiao is getting. I mean, I don't know whether he needs the door, or whether he really does. Is it Boo Boy, that fat kid that holds his pads? He's his advisor, isn't he? He's now stepped up from padman to advisor. If he's on a percentage, we know what's going on. They're convincing him that, you've still got it, man. He hasn't. He didn't have it 2 fights ago. When he were fighting the likes of Jeff Horn and them, he'd have wiped the floor.
He should have just let it go. He beat Keith Thurman, took Thurman's O in a great performance.
Out.
Stop there. Just go out.
Took the record as the oldest ever fighter to win the world. He's going to beat his own record by 6.5 years.
A Bucci is about 60.
I know, but that's what I mean. They're all coming back for this, like the skint.
Someone's going to get done. I'm being serious, boys. I'm not saying
that's what it'll take.
Someone's going to get done in.
That's what it'll take to stop it, which is sad.
Which is terrible. It's really sad. Someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah, Liam, I think Fundora should be the favourite there. I noticed
so do I.
Fundora, and he won the first fight. He's got the momentum. Zhu's got the knockout a couple of fights ago against Murtazaliev. He's lost 2 out of his last 3. 4 years out of 6 years since his last win. There we go. Love the jersey, Liam. Which rugby team is that, Jan says?
Old England training talk, mate. I'd literally just go out of the shower when you sent us the link. I was like, right, what's the first thing I can find to?
That's not real rugby, boys. That's not real rugby.
Exactly.
All
big names back, new names coming through. Yeah, exactly. 100%. We've got Bam Rodriguez is back, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. Eddie and Matchroom are in Texas. Probably going head-to-head then with that Pacquiao show, which is in Vegas.
Flying the flag for the clean Latinos, Bam. Well done.
He's facing Cafu, the South African. He had a good win over in Japan. It's a unification at super flyweight. You think Bam will move up. Oh, no, sorry. He's facing Puma Martinez in Riyadh, isn't he, in November, if he gets... So he's had his next fight announced before this one. Cafu isn't going to cause Bam any problems. Bam should win this fight comfortably. Puma Martinez might cause him a few more problems. I still maybe don't think so. I think Bam might be a bit too fresh for Puma, but his activity is good. It's good to see Bam back out. On the undercard, Diego Pacheco, he's fast becoming one of the brightest stars at 168 as well. He's facing Trevor McCumbee. We loved his fight against Plant, and when we watched that one on the Canelo Berlanga card, he gave that a right go. So he'll give Pacheco a go, but Pacheco, he looks very good. I think him and Billy, I want to see that fight at 168. That's the one that I really want to see.
Yeah, I mean, Cafu, I think I once saw him score a decent free
kick.
He's
a good right back.
Decent right peg on him. Bam will walk through him, I think. And Fundora, I think he beats Shu again. I think Shu got exposed and has been exposed. He's of a certain level. He's tough. Nowhere near as good as his own man. They never are, though, but he's tough. But I think that is to his detriment. So he digs his toes in and has a fight against people that are better than him. I think Bam, the fact that he's made his next fight shows us what he thinks of Cafu. And I think he's professional enough not to take his eye off the ball.
Oh, no, I think Bam could have an off night and beat Cafu on Saturday. Yeah. I honestly do.
I'm never a fan of seeing fighters the next fight's announced while they've got a current one. But look, let's not put the kiss of death on it. But like you just said, Sam, Bam could have a 5-6 out of 10 night and probably still come through on Saturday. But Pacheco, McCumbee, if McCumbee brings the same energy he did against Caleb Plant, could be a hell of a fight on that undercards.
Macumbi's a really good fighter. He really announced himself, didn't he, against Caleb Plant?
I enjoyed that fight. It was a really good fight. That.
Yeah, I think I sent him a message and he followed me on socials. He's a nice guy as well. He's a really nice.
I've seen him do a few of the interviews with the YouTube channels. He looks just a chill out, good guy. So I'll be rooting for him, to be fair, but I think he's up against Pacheco, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he is, but I think he'll give a good account of himself. I know that's basically saying he'll be a valiant loser, but I think he'd have to have. I think Pacheco would have to have an off night, and Macumbi have the fight of his life for him to beat him. To be honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely, Jams. That November 22nd. I think they've added Dalton Smith on it as well, haven't they? Not against Matthias.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal card, to be fair. That's probably the best card since February the 22nd, I would say, top to bottom.
It's back to what these Saudi cards were meant to be. But we were having a conversation earlier about the opponent that's been announced for Ray Fords. And I get it's a standard opponent, but it's just not Saudi.
That was the best fight for me on that card, on the August 16th card, Kakachi Ford. That was the one I was looking forward to most.
Probably the biggest 50-50 as well in terms of
when you look at the biggest 50-50. You got Nick Ball against a super bantamweight again. He keeps fighting super bantamweights, even though he's been a featherweight champion for 3 or 4 fights. Atama against White is what it is. We know why Dillion's been brought in there. And what's the other fight that I'm missing? It was Kakachi against Ford. It was Atama against White. It was the one I've just mentioned. Now my mind's got completely blank.
I'm getting it.
Oh, Bam. No, sorry, not on August 16th.
Hergovich Adelaide.
Yeah, that was just completely random.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen. I think Hergovich will pull out of that injured. I just got a weird feeling because it's a random fight that nobody.
Adelaide could chin Hergovich.
Could do. If his confidence is not there, Adelaide will just put it on him because he's not going to outbox him, is he?
No. Yeah. If Hergovich does pull out of that fight, Adelaide is screwed because he's vacated his British. They're ordering
Dave Allen. Isn't it?
So Hergovich pulling out of that, he will be absolutely screwed because we all know he's taking this fight for the bag and for the money. We've all said it. You just, would be a lesson in maybe.
Hope it goes ahead.
Yeah, maybe a lesson in holding on to what you've got, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I actually had a look at the schedule just before we wrap up. I had a look at the schedule after. Obviously, you got Garner against Bellotti, which is a good main event, but rubbish card next week.
Yeah.
I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Then after that, it gets a little bit quiet up until that Riyadh season. Yes, it's yeah. It's a bit
which
of a
is not Kazakh. Which Ashfaq? Not Kaz Ashfaq.
I don't know. I know. Susumi's.
If it's Kaz Ashfaq, it's a fucking joke. Can't be.
But yeah, Liam, I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it yourself.
Well, it's quite Ashfaq, yeah.
He'll batter. He'll do, but it's shit. How's he
got
that fight?
Sutsumi though, don't they, on the Riyadh season cards?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ring ambassador or something.
They've thrown him a bone here, mate. This is a layup. Ashfaq's not on that level.
But he's only had a few fights, is he not, Sutsumi?
Yeah, but Ashfaq's only something like had 10 fights maybe himself.
Any closing comments on Usyk Dubois, boys, before we wrap up?
Save it for tomorrow. Predictions.
It's from near me, Kaz Ashfaq. I think it's from Leeds.
Yeah.
Sorry,
let's see what Dubois and Don Charles do in fight week. Let's see, because they're planning. You can tell that they're planning something.
Dubois is going to do something, a table flip.
I know, but look, that worked on Joshua. Do you remember when Dubois fought Joshua and he's like, AJ said, Daniel, you don't want to do this, Daniel. And then they all started like having this beef or whatever you want to call it. But that isn't, Fury wasted too much energy trying to do that with Usyk. And then he tried it again in the rematch to be all.
They're all trying it. They're trying to rattle the unrattleable.
Yes, that's it, John.
You can't rattle him. You can't rattle Usyk. He's a consummate professional. Just concentrate on your own shit, and I'll see you in the corner of the ring.
Yeah, too right. Too right.
You're not rattling him. It's just energy that you don't... Look, Belanga did it. What did I say to you 3 days before that fight?
Belanga was wasting. He was beat before he got in there.
Way too much energy. You can't do that with people that you know whether they can be got at, and Shiraz had that quiet confidence, and Usyk's got that in abundance because he's proven at that level. Dubois, right, he's not proven at that level. He's had a failure and a victory, right? Joshua was washed. Usyk is not that guy.
Agreed. Did scream in Usyk's face today. Yeah, saw that. Ford Nova. The more Dubois talk. yeah, that's fair, Jay. That's pretty much what you said. Yeah, the more Dubois talks, the worse the me.
That opponent for Ray Ford is horrific.
Oh, Nova. Yeah.
He's won one fight in his last 4.
Yeah. Don Charles is a disgrace to a man loves being the victim. Yeah, he doesn't paint himself in the best of light. I don't think Don Charles in these situations. TKO is paid to step aside for that.
But there's conflict in there because if Frank don't want to pay for him to fight again, why would he pay for him to step aside? Just don't make the fight.
Unless Turkey's paid a bag to Adelaide for the Hrgovic fight. And then in that bag, they've given TK. I don't know. Look, we just.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I get what you mean.
I'm glad though, because I didn't want to see Adelaide TKB too. Nobody did.
No one did. Sorry, mate. Yeah, no.
No, go on, boys. Yeah, we'll leave it there. We've got. Just looks good with the big lump here. We've got predictions coming up. Predictions coming up tomorrow. Liam, have you done your show today?
No, recording tomorrow lunchtime, mate. So be out
tomorrow lunchtime.
Who's on it, Liam?
Counter Punch, mate. Matt Elliott.
Counter Punch. Yeah, keep an eye on that over on JFT. I'm sure the boys will be doing Straight Talk on Thursday as well for a big weekend of UFC and boxing. Thanks to Jay and Liam as always. Jams, Luca, Liam, DJ Pat, Hawkan, Mad Mitch, Mickey. Have I missed anybody, boys? Humble Apple Crumble, I can see. TJ, obviously, Chilltown Boxing, the main man. Cheers, guys, for joining us as always. We'll be back tomorrow night for the predictions, JFT for Straight Talk later in the week. And of course, we'll be here for the main event Saturday night. Cheers, Liam.